Chapter 4. Where the Island Opens. Maren woke before the sun. Not suddenly, not with urgency, but in the slow, natural way a tide turns when no one is watching. Her eyes opened to a sky still deep with night, the stars dim but present, as if lingering out of courtesy before giving the day its turn. For a moment, she lay still, listening. The island was quiet, but not empty. Beneath the hush, there was movement, a low, steady awareness that felt less like sound and more like breath. The sea exhaled somewhere beyond the curve of the shore. Leaves shifted gently overhead. Stone held its patient silence. She sat up, drawing her knees to her chest, and felt it again. That subtle sensation she had noticed the day before. The feeling that the island was not merely beneath her, but aware of her presence upon it. Not watching, listening. Maren rose and brushed the sand from her clothes. She did not hurry. There was no sense of being late. The morning felt wide open, as if it had been waiting specifically for her to wake. She followed a narrow path away from the village, guided not by markers or signs, but by a quiet pull she had learned to trust. The silver-leafed trees thinned as the ground began to slope upward. The air grew cooler, carrying the faint mineral scent of stone warmed and cooled over countless days. When she reached the ridge, the horizon spread before her. Below, Tide Hollow lay nestled between land and sea, lanterns still glowing softly as people slept. Beyond it, the water stretched out, dark and calm, reflecting the last of the stars. Farther still, just barely visible, was the faintest hint of light where the sea curved into sky. She felt small and steady. Behind her, footsteps approached, slow and familiar. You felt it too, Kellen said quietly, stopping a respectful distance away. Maren nodded, without turning. The island. It feels different this morning. Kellen smiled, though she could hear it more than see it. That's because today, it opens. She turned to face him. Opens? Before he could answer, Lyra's voice joined them, soft but alert. Don't explain it. She'll hear it better if you don't. Lyra stepped up beside Maren, her usual energy muted into something calm and focused. She carried a small pack slung over one shoulder, tools clinking faintly inside. Sori arrived last, their presence quiet but unmistakable, like a shadow cast by something solid and enduring. It's time, Sori said simply. Maren's heart quickened, not with fear, but with anticipation. Time for what? For you to walk where the island speaks without words, Sori replied. For you to listen without answers. They did not lead her back toward the village. Instead, they continued along the ridge, following a path that narrowed, until it was little more than a suggestion etched into the stone. As they walked, the sky began to change. Blue seeped gently into the darkness. The stars faded one by one, not vanishing, but retreating, as if making room. The path wound upward and inward, through stone and low brush, until the trees disappeared entirely. Here, the ground was bare rock, smooth in some places, fractured in others, as if shaped by time rather than force. Maren noticed how her steps adjusted automatically. She did not slip. She did not stumble. Her body seemed to understand the terrain, before her thoughts did. This place, Kellen said softly, is where the island remembers itself. They reached a wide, shallow basin, carved naturally into the stone. At its center lay a pool of water so still, it reflected the sky perfectly, turning it upside down. Maren stopped at the edge. The water was clear enough to see not only the bottom, but the layers of reflection above it. Sky, stone, herself. This is the listening hollow, Sori said. The island's deepest quiet. Maren crouched and dipped her fingers into the pool. The water was cold, not unpleasantly so, just enough to sharpen her awareness. Ripples spread outward, then faded, leaving the surface smooth again. Sit, Sori said. Maren obeyed, folding her legs beneath her. Kellen and Lyra sat farther back, not entering the basin itself. Sori remained standing, their gaze turned not toward Maren, but toward the horizon. Close your eyes, Sori said. Maren did. At first, there was only darkness and the faint sense of cool air on her skin. Then, slowly, other sensations began to surface. The pull of gravity, the subtle pressure of stone beneath her, the rhythm of her breath. Then, something deeper, a sense of movement that was not her own. Layers of presence, the weight of the island beneath the pool, the slow drift of the sea beyond the ridge, the memory of heat and cold held in the rock. She felt history, not as images or stories, but as accumulation. Time stacked gently upon itself, never rushing, never forgetting. Her chest tightened. Let it pass through you, Sori said quietly. Do not hold it. Maren exhaled. The sensation shifted. It softened, becoming less overwhelming. Instead of weight, it became connection. Instead of pressure, it became support. She realized then that listening was not about absorbing everything. It was about allowing things to move through without resistance. The pool responded. Without her touching it again, faint ripples formed on the water's surface, not spreading outward, but inward, converging at the center. Maren's breath caught. She opened her eyes. The water glowed, not brightly, just enough to reveal movement beneath. Shapes forming slowly, like memories surfacing from deep water. She saw herself as a child, sitting on the edge of her floating village, feet dangling above the sea. She saw the lighthouse turning above her, steady and patient. She saw storms, calm nights, moments she had forgotten, she remembered. Then the images shifted. She saw Tide Hollow from above, its paths and lanterns arranged like a living pattern. She saw Kellen laughing as he fell into the water from a dock. Lyra hunched over a broken lantern, hands steady, expression focused. Sori, standing alone at the shore, listening to something far beyond sight. Maren felt tears sting her eyes, not from sadness, but from recognition. This place shows you what you already know, Sori said, but have not yet trusted. The images faded. The water stilled. Maren wiped her cheeks, surprised to find them wet. I didn't know I was carrying all of that. No one does, Lyra said softly from behind. Until they stop long enough. They stayed there until the sun crested the horizon. Light spilled into the basin, warming the stone and breaking the reflection of the pool into 1,000 soft fragments. When Sori finally spoke again, their voice carried a note of gentle finality. That is enough for now. Maren stood slowly, legs unsteady but strong. She felt drained, but not empty, like a vessel that had been rinsed clean and set carefully back on the shelf. As they walked back down the ridge, the island felt different again. Not louder, more present. She noticed things she hadn't before. The way the stone paths curved subtly toward the sea. The way the trees leaned just slightly inward, as if listening to one another. The way even the air seemed to pause when people passed, accommodating their presence. They returned to the village. As it fully woke, children ran along the paths. Nets were hauled and checked. Pots simmered over low fires. Life resumed, but Maren felt changed. Later that morning, Lyra brought her back to the workshop. "Today," Lyra said, setting several objects on the table, "you don't fix anything." Maren blinked. "Then what do I do?" "You sit," Lyra replied, "and you notice." She placed before Maren a cracked bowl, a frayed rope, and a lantern that flickered unevenly. "Tell me what each one needs," Lyra said, "not how to fix it." "Just what it needs." Maren picked up the bowl. She did not think. She listened. "It needs rest," she said slowly. "It was made in a hurry." Lyra nodded. She picked up the rope. "It needs to be trusted again." "It was pulled too hard." Another nod. "The lantern. It needs balance." "The flame isn't wrong. The space around it is," Lyra smiled, "genuine and proud." "Good. You're not fixing objects. You're listening to relationships." Maren absorbed that quietly. The afternoon passed in this way. Listening, naming, letting things be seen without correcting them. When the sun lowered again, Maren found herself at the shore once more, watching the manta-like shapes glide beneath the glowing water. Kellen joined her, sitting close enough that their shoulders nearly touched. "You did well today," he said. Maren smiled faintly. "I feel like I didn't do anything." "That's how you know you did it right," he replied. They watched the sea in silence. After a long while, Maren spoke. "Will I always feel this? Open?" Kellen considered. "No. Sometimes you'll close up again. We all do. The point isn't to stay open forever. It's to remember how to open when you need to." Maren nodded. As night fell, lanterns bloomed across Tide Hollow. The Waterlight Tower reflected the sky, its bowl shimmering with stars. Maren lay back on the sand, the island firm beneath her, the sea steady beyond. She felt tired in a deep, honest way, the kind that came from paying attention. Above her, the stars returned, one by one. She closed her eyes. The island listened. The sea answered. And Maren drifted into sleep, carrying with her not answers, but a growing trust in the quiet work of listening, knowing that tomorrow the island would open again, and she would learn to meet it.